Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good day, whatever time it is. It is Saturday, July 16th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast, and I want the barb wire everywhere. It is I, your host, Jeremy Pearson. We got ourselves a nice little show today. As always, you can check me out on Twitter, the 215, Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube, and Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram. Last week we had our Celebrity Connection, start of that series, and today we'll be doing I guess another new series, the Unwarranted Push. We're just gonna be looking at people who've gotten pushes when they really shouldn't have over others, and we'll dive into it just a little bit more. But for now, you all know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. All right, on the news tip, what we got? So Kevin Owens will be out just a little bit longer. His presence is clearly missed. It's very noticeable. He'll be out for a few more weeks. You gotta get KO back on TV. Also, I still can't believe that KO hasn't held a championship in 5 years. Okay. Tony Khan says he will not rush back Bryan Danielson from his injury. He's almost ready to go. He's fine. He's just not cleared just yet. We could always use him on TV, but Claudio has been a suitable replacement for the Blackpool Combat Club until Bryan Danielson returns. Another law firm looks to be jumping in to get into this legal nightmare that the WWE has. We know about all of the bombshells that have been dropped, and a law firm here in Philadelphia. Philadelphia's Cascella Law has announced that they are launching an investigation of WWE on behalf of investors. The firm is seeking investors who lost money after the news broke. The idea is to try and determine whether WWE or the company's officers and directors violated security laws or breached their fiduciary duties in not disclosing the scandal. Boy. And Vince could be in bigger trouble as new allegations come out. This more has to do with remember the lady who says that Vince raped her, I believe. It's a lot, man. This is building up a lot. Naomi has teased wrestling outside of the WWE very soon. Kalisto asked her when she's doing some lucha things, and she was like, ASAP. I mean, her Twitter handle is still Naomi WWE, but whatever. Let's for all intents and purposes, her and Sasha Banks are effectively done with the company. Dark Side of the Ring is looking to cast for the role of Andy Kaufman. You guys, if you don't know, because you are filthy casuals, Andy Kaufman played a big role in professional wrestling alongside Jerry Lawler. The infamous slap will never be forgotten on David Letterman. This is big news, everybody. This is really big news. The WWE talent are still left in the dark about the future of the women's tag team titles, and if there's any indication, these belts aren't coming back. And it looks like, honestly, I think NXT might be getting rid of their tag team championships. So what really should happen is to have just one belt and do what the originals were supposed to do, where go between brands. Listen, I have an idea. I think Impact should let their tag team championships, women's tag team championship, be defended between Ring of Honor, AEW, and Impact. That would be pretty awesome. Courtney Conan and Santana and Ortiz are not on good terms right now. This is one of my favorite tag teams in AEW, and the fact that they're not on good terms is a hurt piece. And according to Chris Jericho, Santana will also be out for 8 months with his injury. He got injured doing a simple rock bottom. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. Big E got some great news in that his doctors say he will fully recover despite some setbacks. He will be fully recovered in probably about a year, a little less than a year. So hopefully this time next year we'll be able to see Big E back in a wrestling ring. NXT viewership has fallen with the Great American Bash fallout. They brought in 582,000 viewers, which is down from 593,000 with a .14 in the 18-49 demo. Listen, that's what they're going to get. Roderick Strong is pretty much beaten down once out of NXT. He once gone so badly, but he signed a new contract and he's got years left on that thing. And he's just gonna have to play it out and be stuck there, where he gets to see his 3 former stablemates and his wife do things in AEW. It's tough. It's tough. Dynamite fell with Fyter Fest. The viewership numbers fell. They brought in 942,000, which is down from last week's 979,000. Did a .32 in the 18-49 demo with a .36 on the 18-49 demo. So Natalya, this is news to me, has some heat on her. So what's being reported is that she's developed a reputation of being more and more of a problem with producers and writers, kind of lashing out a little bit, and people are trying to figure out what they need to do to reel her in. Do they go follow protocol to go to Laura? Well, Laura Knight is going. That's who usually we go to, but do they go to Bruce Pritchard? Do they go to Vince? Do they go to her husband, T.J. Wilson, just as the courage, like, yo, your wife is tripping, dog? We'll see. We'll see. I mean, she knows so Liv's finisher at a house show over the weekend. As you know, I think Io Shirai is the best women's wrestler on the planet, and we're getting more and more news that she could be leaving WWE soon. She came to WWE to work on the main roster. Her contract is almost up, so if she doesn't get a main roster run, she's probably going to leave, and that's what's being reported right now. Honestly, I don't think she'll get a main roster run. Dakota Kai never got called. Raquel Gonzalez got called up before Dakota Kai. Let that sink in. Raquel Gonzalez got called up before Dakota Kai. I don't think Io Shirai is going to get called up. As much as I dislike the guy, Corey Graves has made a very, very good point in his criticism of NXT. The characters are fine. The presentation is fine. Everybody wrestles the same. And that's what you get when you stop bringing in indie talent. Everybody wrestles the same. You're bringing everybody up to the WWE system. Matches aren't going to look great. They're going to look the WWE way, and they're going to suffer for it. All these people, I am not excited for the next generation of wrestlers to come up. I'm really not. That's why I'm hoping Impact and AEW continues to do what they do. And probably the biggest shocking news of the weekend is that there's a possibility that Raw could be moving to TV 14. You know, we discussed this a little bit last night on the Friday Night Yerr. Will it happen? Probably. What changes will be made? That's the biggest thing. I feel like what I think they'll do is they'll test it out on NXT first before testing it out on Raw. And NXT is already pushing some boundaries. But you won't see anything to the extent of what AEW and Impact are doing. Now, you won't get that. Trust me. But I think it'll be a gradual change over time. But that's the news, and we'll be right back. All right, so we are building towards SummerSlam. And Raw, as always, starts the week off. It's an okay show. It's a fist. Gets a fist. Nothing major happened. Brock opens the show, and face Brock is always really, really good. Heyman follows suit. They both put over the match as best they can, and, you know, Heyman does a great job. Austin Theory comes out and makes it known that he's going to be leaving SummerSlam as a double champion. And he even shows footage of Brock killing him at the Elimination Chamber. So there's that. Brock lays out the Alpha Academy, even putting Otis through the announce table. Let's go. Finn Balor defeats Ray, and the Judgment Day get a much, much needed win. God. We still have those promos, those video packages with Edge. He is coming back. Becky Lynch states her intentions for the Raw Women's Championship, and then she distracts Bianca during her match with Carmella, causing her to lose this was for the Raw Women's Championship. Carmella wins by countout. And Carmella's really, really good here. She doesn't get enough credit for the strides and improvements that she's made as a competitor. Ciampa gives us a flimsy reason nonetheless during Miz TV for why he joined the Miz. AJ and Ezekiel then beat Miz and Ciampa. This is, like I said before, we're going to get Miz and Ciampa versus AJ and Logan Paul at SummerSlam, just so they can try to get Logan Paul cheered. He needs X-Pac heat. Fuck Logan Paul. Alexa Bliss and Asuka defeated Nikki ASH and Doudrop in a match. It's a random-ass match. We had a fun segment with the Usos, the Street Profits, R-Truth, and Omos. This was fun. There's another random segment just to give us a 6-man tag match. R-Truth was great, as always. Funny. And the Hills won. Austin Theory and Seth Rollins had some words about how Theory should, potentially cash in this Money in the Bank briefcase in the main event. Lashley and Riddle defeated Theory and Seth. During the match, Ziggler came out and just sat down at ringside. And as Theory was going for a pin with his feet on the ropes, Ziggler moved his feet off the ropes. Ziggler sat back down. Theory caught an RKO. 1, 2, 3. Lashley and Riddle win. And then after the match, Theory gets a super kick from Ziggler. We're just using Ziggler to put over Theory to make him look good. Where's Robert Roode in all of this? Nobody knows. Nobody's explained this. Last time I checked, Ziggler and Roode were supposed to be doing something with MVP and Omos. That just got dropped. Over on Dynamite, we had night 1 of Fyter Fest. The show gets a thumbs up. Wardlow retains the TNT Championship against Orange Cassidy. This was fun. Started out with some comedy, but it ended up being very strong. They showed each other some props. Which was really funny was the best friends got their manager's license and they was like, yo, we're just going to cheat. And then they bring out a chainsaw from under the ring. What? That's funny. It's going to be hard for Wardlow to face faces. He should really defeat faces with the F10 and not the Powerbomb Symphony. But he gave Orange Cassidy one Powerbomb. Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston. Barbed wire everywhere. Jon Moxley survives Konosuke Takeshita in a phenomenal match. Man, this boy Takeshita is the truth. He's already faced Moxley, Kingston, and Jay Lethal. Christian Cage promo tells Brian Pillman Jr. that, yo, your dad's a legend, and if you knew that he left you behind, he'd be pissed. And he hates Griff Garrison because he looks like Jungle Boy. Christian's new gimmick is just shit on wrestlers with dead dad, so -1 is obviously next. Luchasaurus then squashes Griff Garrison. Claudio Castagnoli defeated Jake Hager, and Claudio's got to he's gonna need to wrestle more to get that WWE stink off of him. Serena Deeb defeated Anna Jay in a very, very spirited affair. Anna Jay has grown so much as a competitor. Mercedes Martinez made the save for Anna to stop her from really getting more damage from the Serenity Lock. Listen, this match happened at the same time that we always get with the women right before the main event, 9:15, 9:25-ish, and it's just annoying. We had another women's segment early in the show with Thunderstorm and a returning Britt Baker and Jamie, which was fine. I guess we'll build up to this tag match. Ty taunted Anna while she was in the trainer's room. Swerve and Our Glory defeated the Young Bucks and Team Taz to win the AEW World Tag Team Championships in a phenomenal match. Over on Impact, the Motor City Machine Guns and Josh Alexander defeated Violent by Design. So the Violent by Design split is still being teased. It is coming, possibly next week. Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley will face each other 1-on-1 because they won a title shot. A world championship title shot. Sammy Callahan is coming for Steve Macklin. Chelsea Green defeated Mickie James to become the #1 contenders. Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary went to the Undead Realm to go and get Havoc back. Killer Kelly is coming, and Honor No More defeated the Bullet Club. So these two teams are far from done. Over on SmackDown, more SummerSlam build. The show gets a fist. Pat McAfee returns, cut a promo. Same with Corbin, just to set up their match. We got some history between these two. Let's do it. Liv Morgan defeated Natalya. Paul Heyman has a talk with Theory. The New Day, Jinder and Shanky get some retribution on the Viking Raiders. Lacey Evans cut a really good heel promo. She's good as a heel, but she walks out of her scheduled match with Aaliyah. Sheamus keeps ducking Drew McIntyre. We're supposed to get this match with these two to see who's going to be the number one contender at Clash at the Castle. Drew ended up beating Rich Holland. Madcap Moss defeated Theory by DQ. Sami Zayn was on commentary, just doing Sami things. Theory was in the ring for a very, very long time before the match started. This is getting ridiculous at this point. Madcap Moss surprised Theory after the match and before the Usos could take him out. And in our main event, Angelo Dawkins defeated Jimmy Uso, but Jimmy's shoulder was up. So that brings in our special guest referee, and Adam Pearce made it known that the special guest referee through a promo video is the JEFFRETT. Jeff Jarrett will be the special guest referee for the tag team title match at SummerSlam. It's random, but he's a big enough name that people will be interested. And a brawl breaks out to end the show. That was SmackDown. Over on Rampage, the House of Black defeated the Dark Order team of John Silver and Alex Reynolds. Darby Allin attacks Brody King after the match, and Sting and Malachi Black have a stare down. Miro teases joining the House of Black. Does the House of Black need to be redeemed? Jonathan Gresham retained the Ring of Honor World Championship over Lee Moriarty. Claudio Castagnoli is his next challenger. Chris Statlander and Athena squashed the Renegade Twins. Absolutely squashed them. I was hoping this would have been more of a match because we've seen what the Twins can do. They're really good in the ring. Jade Cargill and Kiera Hogan laid out Athena and Chris Statlander after the match. Stokely Hathaway tries recruiting Lee Moriarty. Lee Moriarty will face Dante Martin next week on Rampage. And we have more fallout from the Gun Club and the Acclaim. So officially, the Gun Club are heels, the Acclaim are faces. And in the main event, the Lucha Brothers defeated Private Party. Our matches of the week, most of it is from AEW. From Dark, Thunder Rosa versus Miyu Yamashita. Also from Dark, the All-Atlantic Championship at RevProUK. Pac defending against Shota Umino. From Dynamite, Jon Moxley versus Konosuke Takeshita. Anna Jay versus Serena Deeb in the Triple Threat World Tag Team Championship match. The Young Bucks versus Team Taz versus Swerve and Our Glory. From Impact, Chelsea Green versus Mickie James. And Honor No More versus the Bullet Club. Our star of the week, Keith Lee and Swerve Scott. We'll be right back. We've been there before. We've seen it multiple times. When a wrestler gets pushed who, should I say, doesn't deserve it? Or should I say, getting pushed at the wrong time? That is the unwarranted push. So, prime example is all of those years of pushing Roman Reigns. Hell, one of these pushes led to Rey Mysterio, the ultimate babyface, getting booed at the Royal Rumble. That actually happened. So, who do we start with? Well, Mandy Rose. Now let's get one thing straight. Let's start at the basis. Mandy Rose got hired because she's an attractive woman. She started out on Tough Enough. Miz literally kept her because she's hot. For a long time, she was discredited because of her looks, and rightfully so. She has she was on Total Divas before she ever stepped foot in the ring, and she's getting the push that she has. She's getting the most value because of her looks. Her looks got her into the door, so now it's a matter of, can you excel? Can you succeed? Prime examples, Trish Stratus' looks got her into the door. But she became one of the greatest of all time because she truly gave a damn. Now, I'm not saying that Mandy Rose doesn't give a damn, but the growth. We're just going to fast forward. We're going to jump to now. Starting last July, Mandy Rose was sent to the NXT brand. After being in a multitude of tag teams, Sonya Deville, Dana Brooke, teamed up with Heavy Machinery, she is on NXT. She formed an alliance with JC Jane and Gigi Dolan to form the faction Toxic Attraction. She's no longer blonde, brown hair. Halloween Havoc of that year, she defeated Raquel Gonzalez in a trick or treat street fight to become the new NXT Women's Champion. This was the 2.0 change, right? Where it's NXT, we have the sex. That's the appeal of toxic attraction. Now, here's the thing. Mandy Rose is still champion. And if you guys know me, you know there's one thing that I value more than everything else in wrestling. More than your look, more than your mic skills, more than your ability to possibly cut a promo. It's your in-ring ability. Period. And when it comes to Mandy Rose's in-ring ability, it leaves much to be desired. She's getting this push, and she's now the women's champion, right? She's the women's champion and has been the women's champion, but all of her matches have been subpar to average at best. Mandy Rose is not a great talent. She was in a War Games match. Really didn't do much. She was in a Fatal 4-Way match. Really didn't do much. The other women carried that match. And yet she's still champion. So when I say I value in-ring ability more than anything else, I do. So the current women on the NXT roster, not NXT UK, the NXT United States roster. Kaylee Ray, known now as Alba Fire. Amari Miller, Ariana Grace, Cora Jade, Elektra Lopez, Erica Yan, Gigi Dolan, Indy Hartwell, Io Shirai, Ivy Now, JC Jane, Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, Kelly Kincaid, Kiana James, Lash Legend, Mandy Rose, Nikita Lyons, Roxanne Perez, Sloane Jacobs, Sophia Cromwell, Tatum Paxley, Thea Hale, Tiffany Stratton, Valentina Faraz, Wendy Chu, Elisa Leon, Zoe Stark. 3 of these names are not like the other. Who are they? Alba Fire, Io Shirai, Roxanne Perez. these three women are by far and away the three best women with the best in-ring ability in NXT. And y'all know me, Io Shirai is the best women's wrestler on the planet. But these three women have to take a back seat to Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose is, I believe, now the longest reigning NXT Women's Champion. Like I'm extremely. Let me make sure. Reigns. Combined days. No, she's not yet. Shayna Baszler, Asuka, Charlotte, Io. Shayna's 6. She needs to hold the belt for 2 more months to pass Io. Pretty much, she needs to hold the belt for at least 2.5 months to pass Io and Charlotte. She's held the belt for 263 days. So let me put this in perspective to you. Let me put this in perspective. Mandy Rose has had longer reigns than Kairi Sane, Rhea Ripley, Ember Moon, Sasha Banks, Bayley, those names, because it's NXT. We have this, and I'm not saying that she doesn't work hard. We know she works hard, but we know where everything's paying off from. She even cut when that feud she had with Sonya Deville a couple years ago about how she's been told that she gets everything handed to her because of her looks. Well, one, it's true. You have your job because of your looks, but do you think do you all think that she is a great champion? Listen, I've told you all that the NXT Women's Championship has been diminished greatly once Raquel Gonzalez became champion, because once again, let's look at the names on the of all the champions. We've had 12 women's champions. Okay, we've had 12. Listen to the names on this list. All right. Shayna Baszler, Asuka, Charlotte Flair, Paige, Io Shirai, Mandy Rose, Bayley, Raquel Gonzalez, Sasha Banks, Ember Moon, Rhea Ripley, Kairi Sane. 2 of these names are not like the other. Mandy Rose and Raquel Gonzalez. Why are these names not like the other? Because all the other women I've named are phenomenal in-ring workers. But we've seen the change of NXT 2.0. So the question is, for me, it's is Mandy Rose's push unwarranted? Yes and no. I get why they're pushing her, because they're trying to change over NXT, no longer the black and gold. But when she's getting pushed above Kaylee Ray, Io Shirai, and Roxanne Perez, and Roxanne Perez is only like 2021. She's a savant in the ring. The push is unwarranted, and I thought things were going to come to an end, but they didn't. She's still champion, and for me, that's what hurts the most, because you all know how much I am a fan of Io Shirai. We move on to our next push, and listen, honestly, he might be the last one we talk about, because I need to see. Theory was going to be on this list, but I want to see what happens with him after SummerSlam. So we'll end it with a guy that I just have no love for, who I think is severely overrated. That is Karrion Kross. Killer Kross, whatever fucking dumbass name he wants to go through. I don't care. I don't care for the man. I think he is highly overrated. But where does that unwarranted push come from with him? Well, he started out, he's wrestled in some good places. GFW, which nobody cares about. Lucha Underground, AAA, Impact, where he really made a name for himself. MLW. But it's when he got to NXT. So he was in NXT for the better part of a year. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to NXT. We're going to go to the roster by year. So let's do 2020 for NXT. Let me make sure he's on here. Yes, okay. So during that time, oh man, I'm sorry, I just saw something else. During that time, we were building up one very specific individual, and we've discussed this: the WWE's inability to make stars. That's just something they really, really struggle with. Making stars. We were building up Keith Lee. So Ciampa and Gargano were just finishing their epic feud. Cross debuts, taking out Ciampa. He's under the name Karrion Kross. He defeats Leon Rush in a squash. He defeats Ciampa by technical submission at In Your House. So we see what's going on. At TakeOver 30, he defeated Keith Lee to win the NXT Championship. Keith Lee had only held the belt for, I think, a month. Keith Lee went from being the NXT champion and the North America champion to having no championships. We were on the verge of making Keith Lee a superstar. But we see Karrion Kross, a guy who weaseled his way out of Impact when they did everything to cater to him. And now he's the NXT champion. He got injured during that match. Separated shoulder. So a separated shoulder. And he had to vacate the title. His reign was only 4 days. Well, here's the thing. Maybe he shouldn't have been champion. He would return by attacking Damian Priest. At New Year's Eve, he defeats Damian Priest. So we're already jobbing. We jobbed out Keith Lee to him. Then he jobbed out Damian Priest. He then defeated Finn Balor at Stand and Deliver to win the NXT Championship again. And he was just wrecking shop. But here's the kicker. TakeOver In Your House. He defended the championship in a 5-way against Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly, Johnny Gargano, and Adam Cole. I really, really, really wanted Pete Dunne to win here. Kross won the match, and he didn't do a damn thing. Now, once again, one of these names are not like the other. Karrion Kross, Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly, Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole. Who doesn't fit here? These men, some of the best technical wrestlers on the planet, some of the best wrestlers on the planet were used to make Karrion Kross look good. Cross and defeated Johnny Gargano. But they brought us Samoa Joe, and finally there was a hope. Samoa Joe defeated Karrion Kross. The rest is history. Kross is no longer in WWE. But I get why they pushed this man. He looks good. His presence is there. But did you really need to sacrifice Keith Lee for him? That's a question they have to ask themselves every single time. His push wasn't warranted. For me, you got to start at the bottom. Get the North American Championship. Win that belt. Win that strap. Dominates. Then his loss, losing the North American Championship, helps put somebody else over. He moves on up to the NXT Championship. But everything can't be hot shot. And that's what happens. I've never liked Karrion Kross. I think he is supremely overrated. But we've seen the downfall of NXT, and he was part of the problem. That is our show, ladies and germs. Thank you all for listening. I really very, very much appreciate it. Coming soon, we have the first 2 episodes of The Filthy Casual coming. They'll be dropping hopefully the next week or so. We're going to record those next week. Our next show will be looking at a new episode of Faction Warfare. As always, you can check me out on the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, Twitter, the 215. And as always, Xylee, Wendy Chu, and Gigi Dolan. Holla at you.